Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're delving into one of the biggest and most ambitious sagas in the One Piece franchise, the Wano Country saga. This new world storyline is often remembered for its massive scale, samurai setting, and years of buildup. But it also has a loyal following that considers it one of the most important arcs in the entire series. And honestly, it is, because this saga gives us Kaido and Big Mom in full effect, and Luffy's legendary Gear 5 awakening. But before we get any further, did you know that Kaido is subscribed to the channel? Did you know that? If you want to be part of his crew, you should just subscribe. Don't worry about what happens to him between him and Luffy. It doesn't matter. Just subscribe. With that being said, let's dive in. Wano Country aired in the One Piece anime from 2019 to 2023 in Japan and spans a total of 197 episodes. So let's get into the story. Wano Country. Marco and Nekomamushi first reach Sphinx, Whitebeard's homeland, hoping Marco will join the fight against Kaido. But Marco stays behind to protect the village from Edward Weevil and Buchan, who are hunting Whitebeard's inheritance. He sends Nekomamushi ahead with a message for Luffy. Meanwhile, Luffy's group sails towards Wano, reading news from the Leveille, aka the Reverie, before entering the stormy sea. They ride giant carp up a waterfall, but a whirlpool separates Luffy and the Thousand Sunny from the others. In Wano, Kinemon's group has already infiltrated the flower capital. Frankie works as a carpenter, Usopp sells toad oil, Robin trains as a geisha, and Zoro becomes a ronin. But Zoro is framed for murders by a corrupt magistrate. During his forced seppuku, Zoro realizes the magistrate is the real killer and cuts him down with the tiny blade. Luffy washes ashore in Kuri and meets Tama, a poor girl with the power to tame animals by feeding them dango from her cheek. After Luffy saves her from beast pirate scouts, Tama feeds him her only rice. She then collapses from drinking polluted water. Her master, Tenguyama Hitetsu, explains that Kaido's factories have poisoned the land and that Tama has been waiting for Ace, who once promised to take her to sea. Luffy tells her Ace died, devastating her, but he sets out to find her a doctor. On the way, Luffy reunites with Zoro, and the two clash with Basil Hawkins. After this, they later meet Tsuru, who cures Tama in Okobore town, where the poor survive on leftovers from the wealthy Bakura town. When Tama is kidnapped by Gazelman and taken to Hold'em, Luffy, Zoro, and Kiku storm Bakura town. Luffy defeats the Yokozuna Urashima in a sumo match, then punches Hold'em with Red Hawk after seeing Tama hurt. He also steals a cart of clean food and water from the Paradise Farm and delivers it to Okobore town, promising Tama that before he leaves Wano, she will eat as much as she wants every day. Law then brings Luffy to the ruins of Oden Castle, where Luffy sees graves for Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, and Momonosuke. Kinemon reveals the truth. They are not ghosts, but travelers from 20 years ago. He explains that Kozuki Oden once ruled Kuri, sailed with Whitebeard and Roger, learned the secrets of the world, and wanted to open Wano's borders. But Kaido and Orochi killed him, burned Oden Castle, and forced Toki to send Momonosuke, Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, and Kiku 20 years into the future. Their goal is to raid Kaido's island, Onigashima, during the Fire Festival in 2 weeks. Kaido suddenly appears over Kuri in dragon form. Hawkins, trying to redirect Kaido away from the town, accidentally sends him toward Oden Castle. Kaido destroys the ruins with a blast of fire, and Luffy, believing his crew may have been killed, attacks him in rage. Luffy hits Kaido with everything he has, but Kaido barely feels it and knocks him out with one swing of his club. Luffy is thrown into Udon prison, where he meets Kid, and the two immediately begin competing while swearing revenge. Elsewhere, Gecko Moria invades Blackbeard's island looking for Absalom, only to learn Absalom was killed and his invisibility fruit stolen by Shiru. Blackbeard invites Moria to join him while revealing major world news. The revolutionary commanders clash with admirals at the Leveille, aka the Reverie, depending on how you want to say this, man, like, bruh. And Luffy has arrived in Wano. In Wano's second act, the flower capital grows tense. Robin infiltrates Orochi's banquet, where Orochi rants about Toki's prophecy and the Kozuki clan's return. When Toko laughs at him, Orochi tries to kill her, but Komurasaki slaps him. Kiyoshiro appears to cut Komurasaki down, secretly saving her by faking her death, while Nami drops Zeus lightning on Orochi during the chaos. Sanji is later hunted by Page 1 and uses the raid suit for the first time, becoming invisible as Stealth Black. Zoro, meanwhile, meets Tonoyasu in Ibisu town, whose people laugh constantly despite starvation. Zoro then chases Yukimaru, who stole Shusui and ends up saving Komurasaki and Toko from Kamazo. After defeating Kamazo, Zoro learns Komurasaki is actually Hiyori, Momonosuke's sister, who stayed behind in the past and survived under Denjiro's protection. The Alliance suffers a setback when Orochi discovers the secret crescent moon symbol and has Kozuki's supporters rounded up. Tonoyasu, revealed as Shimotsuki Yasui, sacrifices himself publicly. He claims the secret message was only a prank, making Orochi look paranoid and secretly changing the Alliance's meeting place. Orochi executes him and the people of Ebisu town laugh uncontrollably. Hiyori reveals the horrifying truth. Orochi fed failed smile fruits to starving townspeople, robbing them of every emotion except laughter. When Orochi tries to shoot Toko, Zoro and Sanji arrive to save her. In Udon, Luffy trains under Hyogoro, learning the Wano form of armament hockey called Ryu. Big Mom, who lost her memory after falling into Wano's waters, is brought to Udon by Chopper, Tama, Kiku, and Momonosuke because she wants Oshiruko. She destroys Queen, causes chaos, and pushes Luffy to unlock a deeper level of hockey by removing explosive collars. Queen eventually knocks Big Mom back into her memories and takes her to Onigashima. Luffy uses the chaos to liberate Udon, winning the prisoners over after Queen's virus weapon backfires. Kawamatsu is freed, Hyogoro rallies the old Yakuza bosses, and Udon becomes an Alliance stronghold. The final preparations come together. Ashura Doji rejoins after showing Kinemon the graves of samurai who died waiting. Kawamatsu reveals a hidden stockpile of weapons gathered with Onimaru. Hiyori gives Zoro Oden's sword, Enma, in exchange for returning Shusui to Wano. Eventually, their alliance reaches 4,200 fighters. Elsewhere, Kaido and Big Mom form their own pirate alliance, sending shockwaves throughout the world. News of the Reverie also changes everything. The Seven Warlords system is abolished, Marine forces move against Mihawk, Hancock, Buggy, and Weevil, and Sengoku explains the history of the Rocks Pirates, the old crew that included Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard. Meanwhile, Wano becomes even more important because of Oden's connection to Roger, Whitebeard, and the secrets of the world. On the day of the raid, the Scabbards arrive at Tokage Port and find everything ruined. The Alliance appears gone. Then, Kanjuro reveals he is Orochi's spy and a member of the Kurozumi clan. He kidnaps Momonosuke and tries to crush the Scabbard's hope, but Luffy, Law, and Kid arrive at sea with their crews, and Denjiro reveals himself as Kiyoshiro, bringing the freed Resetsu prisoners and the Hidden Alliance forces. Jinbei also returns, officially joining the Straw Hats just in time for the raid. The Alliance lands on Onigashima, disguised as beast pirates. While Kaido and Orochi celebrate the Fire Festival, Luffy and Zoro blow their cover after seeing beast pirates waste food and mock Okabore town. Kid attacks Appu for betraying him, and chaos erupts. The Scabbards infiltrate from the rear. Kanjuro delivers Momonosuke to Orochi, and Kaido announces the new Onigashima project. He will turn Wano into a lawless pirate nation and make Yamato shogun. When Orochi objects, Kaido beheads him and absorbs his forces. Luffy meets Yamato, Kaido's child, who idolizes Oden and wants to fight for Wano. Yamato reveals he met Ace years ago and has been waiting for Luffy. As Kaido prepares to execute Momonosuke, the Scabbards launch their ambush and wound him, officially starting the raid. Kaido takes dragon form and flies to the rooftop with the Scabbards clinging to him. Under the full moon, the Minks unleash Sulong and fight Jack's army. Inside the Skull Dome, the Straw Hats gather. Sanji saves Momonosuke from King. Frankie and Brook crash into Big Mom. Jinbei and Robin toss Big Mom away, and Luffy declares total war. Drake, exposed as a marine spy, joins Luffy's side. Queen then releases the Ice Oni virus on the live floor, while Tama begins turning gifters to the Alliance's side using her dango. Robin then saves Sanji from Black Maria, trusting his faith in her, and later defeats Black Maria with Brook's help. Chopper then cures the Ice Oni virus and wins over Queen's own subordinates by proving Queen treats them as disposable. On the rooftop, Luffy, Zoro, Law, Kid, and Killer face Kaido and Big Mom. Luffy hurts Kaido with Red Rock, proving his new haki works. The worst generation fights desperately, but the two emperors are overwhelming. Zoro briefly blocks their combined attack, suffering massive injuries, then later scars Kaido with Ashura. Luffy realizes Conqueror's haki can be infused into attacks and briefly fights Kaido one-on-one, but he is defeated and knocked into the sea. The battle continues below, as Big Mom turns on page 1 after learning Okabore town was burned, while Nami and Usopp protect Tama. Zeus, abandoned by Big Mom, ends up living inside Nami's climate tact and helps her defeat Ulti. Momonosuke broadcasts Luffy's message that he is still alive and will return, restoring the Alliance's morale. Sanji then takes over against Queen, and Zoro is revived by mink medicine so he can fight King. The Straw Hats and their allies begin defeating their enemies, and Jinbei defeats Who's Who reveals he was imprisoned by the world government after losing the Gomu Gomu no Mi to Shanks. Frankie defeats Sasaki, and Robin defeats Black Maria, while Killer defeats Hawkins by exploiting the fact that Kid has no left arm. Sanji, fearing his Vinsmoke modifications are awakening and might erase his emotions, destroys the raid suit, then accepts his new body and defeats Queen with Ifrit Jambe. Zoro learns King is a Lunarian and figures out his flame-based defense. By unleashing his own Conqueror's haki through Enma, he defeats King. Meanwhile, Law and Kid fight Big Mom. Using their awakened Devil Fruit abilities, they push her beyond her limits. Big Mom empowers herself with her own lifespan, but Law silences her with Our Room, and Kid blasts her with Damned Punk, sending her through Onigashima and into a massive underground pit. Big Mom falls into the earth, swearing revenge, and an explosion follows. For the first time, an emperor has finally fallen. Kaido then defeats Luffy again after CP0 interferes, recreating the kind of outside sabotage that once ruined Kaido's fight with Oden. Luffy's heart stops and Kaido declares him dead. The Alliance then begins to despair, but Zunisha tells Momonosuke it hears the drums of liberation. Joy Boy has returned. The five elders reveal that Luffy's fruit is not the Gum Gum fruit, but the mythical Zoan Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, whose awakening gives the user absurd freedom in battle, bringing their imagination and dreams to reality. With this, Luffy awakens in Gear 5. In Gear 5, Luffy fights like a living cartoon, grabbing Kaido, bouncing attacks back, turning giant, and laughing through the battle. Kaido recognizes the power as an awakening, but continues fighting seriously, insisting haki is what truly conquers the seas. Inside the castle, fire spread everywhere, but Raizo uses water stored from Zunisha's eruption rain, and Jinbei spreads it through the castle to save everyone. Orochi, trapped with Hiyori, tries to kill her, but Denjiro returns and finally beheads him. For the final battle, Luffy creates an island-sized fist, and Kaido wraps himself in a massive flaming dragon form, confident Luffy will melt before touching him. But Luffy uses advanced haki to avoid direct contact. When Kaido asks what kind of world Luffy wants, Luffy answers a world where his friends can eat as much as they want. Luffy overpowers Kaido and punches him deep into the earth, while Momonosuke finally creates flame clouds to move Onigashima away from the flower capital and land it safely. With Kaido defeated, Nekomamushi announces victory. Momonosuke appears before the people of Wano with Hiyori and the Scabbards. At first, the citizens fear he is Kaido, but he transforms into his adult human form and declares that Kaido and Orochi are gone. He promises to abolish the factories, restore the land, and rule as Wano's new shogun. Tama remembers her parents, the hunger she endured, and Luffy's promise, then breaks down crying in Nami's arms. A week later, Wano begins healing. Luffy and Zoro finally wake up, demanding meat and booze, and the country celebrates with a massive banquet. Robin discovers that Tenguyama Hitetsu, is actually Kozuki Sukiyaki, Odin's father, who reveals Wano's road poneglyph and the hidden ancient weapon Pluton beneath the country. He also explains that opening Wano's borders would release Pluton, but Momonosuke decides the country is not ready yet. Caribou overhears this and plans to expose this later on. Ryokugyu arrives in Wano, hoping to capture Luffy and impress Sakazuki. He attacks the recovering scabbards and drains Raizo and Shinobu, but Momonosuke refuses help from Luffy's group, wanting to prove Wano can defend itself. In desperation, he unleashes his first Bolo breath. Ryokugyu prepares to continue, but Shanks, waiting offshore with the red-haired pirates, blasts him with Conqueror's Haki. Ryokugyu retreats and Shanks decides not to meet Luffy yet, instead declaring it is finally time to go after the One Piece. Yamato chooses to stay in Wano for now, wanting to help protect it and explore the country before sailing. Marco then says his goodbye to Luffy and tells him Ace would be proud. Carrot is then chosen to become the new ruler of Zou, while Sukiyaki reveals himself to Momonosuke and Hiyori, but chooses to keep living as Tengu Yama. Finally, the Straw Hats, Heart Pirates, and Kid Pirates all prepare to leave. Law declares their alliance over, and the three crews become rivals again. Kid reveals the Cross Guild, led publicly by Buggy with Crocodile and Mihawk involved, and mentions the mysterious Man with the Burn Scar. Momonosuke and Kinemon, angry that Luffy left without saying goodbye, chase him to the port. Momonosuke breaks down, begging Luffy not to go, but Luffy gives him a Straw Hat flag and tells him to fly it over Wano if enemies come, because Wano is now under his crew's protection. He also tells Momonosuke, Kinemon, and Yamato that they can sail with him whenever they're ready. The three pirate crews then depart Wano, each heading toward the next stage of the race for the One Piece. And that is the end of Wano Country. Thanks for watching the channel. If you're looking for the next saga recap where we jump into the final saga, then be sure to check it out. And in the meantime, you can also click on the previous sagas right here as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, join the membership if you're feeling like a true pirate, and use some observation hockey on that bell icon so you never miss another update. Till we meet again, deuces.